In this video, you'll learn the journey from new trader to senior prop trader, from South Africa to New York City, of one successful firm trader. Hi, I'm Mike Bellafiore, co-founder of S&B Capital, and we're a proprietary trading firm located in Midtown Manhattan. And I'm also the author of the trading classic, One Good Trade, and the Playbook. In this video, senior trader Ryan Hassan is interviewed about his successful trading journey by the Confessions of a Market Maker podcast. Let's get to work on sharing Ryan's important trading lessons so you can grow your trading account.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 41 of Confessions of a Market Maker. I'm your co-host, Ray, aka All Day Ray, aka Mambo King. I'm joined here by my benevolent co-host, former market maker of 20 years and current day retail trader, a legendary penny stock paper hanger where he herded in retail sheep like he was straight out of the Old Testament. He's a great conversationalist, but you're not going to find him talking around pillows. I'm talking about the gorilla of House Street. JJ, how's it going?
Hey, Ray, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Excited for our guest. He is a senior prop trader at S&B Capital. He trades alongside some heavyweights and is a heavyweight in his own right. He does excellent videos for the firm where he gives out his nuggets of trading wisdom. A young man hailing from South Africa. I'm talking about Ryan Hassan?
Hassan, that's right.
That's it, Ryan Hassan. Ryan, thanks for joining us. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's going great. Thanks for the introduction. It's great to be on here with you guys.
Yeah, man, really appreciate it. I really love that video you put out recently. Prompted us to reach out to you, man. So real excited. How has this whole quarantine virus period been from you from a personal standpoint? How's it going?
So it's, thank God, going well. I came back just before everything sort of unfolded with Corona. I came back from New York to visit family and spend some time there, visiting friends and family, and just to catch up with everyone. And sort of a month into that, Corona started, sweeping the world. And 6 months later, I'm still here. So from a personal standpoint, it's been challenging, obviously, trading from home, and it's quite intense in South Africa with the regulations. I'm not sure if you know this, but even alcohol has been banned for 4 months. Cigarettes, nicotine, all of those products have been banned as well. I think we're actually we're number 5 for the most cases in the world. So it's been challenging in South Africa. But luckily I'm surrounded by friends and family, and also good internet connections. I've been able to trade every day and not miss out on any of the amazing action that we've had.
Yeah.
So the things are going well. Can't wait to go back to the States and trade alongside my team members and colleagues, and be in the office in that team environment again, which is so important.
Yeah.
Definitely can't complain to be safe and healthy during these times.
Right. Awesome. So how is trading? You've still been in contact with your teammates. Do you guys like Zoom conference, or like what's the trading situation like now for you?
Yeah. So in terms of my daily routine, it's very similar to what it's like in New York. I'm just not in the office.
Yeah.
With Zoom and with Discord and Skype and GChat, we're connected all the time, me and the firm, from partners to team members, colleagues. So we talk first thing in the morning, 9 a.m. We have a team meeting, Team Shark, and there are about 7-8 of us. We go through our top ideas. And then throughout the day, we're sharing ideas, be it on GChat or Skype call or Discord. And so we're always connected.
Yeah, that's great, man. I always, I grew up playing sports. I always enjoyed the camaraderie, of teammates, and then playing poker, for years. It's a very solo activity. Now coming into trading, I really enjoy having others to bounce ideas off of, to talk to. It's more of a team thing. Talk to the importance of your like learning curve, Ryan, what it was like having these guys to learn from, to pick their brain. What was the benefits, or, I guess just speak on that.
It makes a huge difference. And I think for newer traders, to touch on what you said, in some sports, trading can be lonely if you make it lonely.
Right.
But if you aren't scared to ask questions and reach out to people, even if you're a retail trader trading from home and all you have is Twitter to see what, ideas and what's going out in the world, from Twitter, what people are putting out, you can still reach out to them and ask questions. And so it doesn't have to be lonely if you're not, if you don't want to be at a firm, or if you're not lucky enough to be at a firm.
Yeah.
So it made a huge difference with the learning curve. I think it cut the learning curve by, 50% probably. In terms of the time it took me to be profitable, consistently profitable. And the reason why is because I'm around, whether physically or connected just online, with traders that at the time back when I first started were doing what I wanted to do. And so I wanted to learn how to trade a certain way or trade a certain stock. And I just had to look to my left or my right. And there was a guy that, was at the time and still is incredibly successful at trading that stock. So I just had to pick his brain and not be afraid as a junior trader to ask a senior trader, hey man, I saw you shorted, XYZ. Why did you short it there? What was your process? Why did you take size off there and add there? And it's so important to bounce ideas, but also pick the brains of someone that has already achieved what you're trying to do. And so that made all the difference. It really did.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine someone, wanting to do it on their own as compared to being a part of, a group or a community. I've just seen the benefits myself, like being mentored by JJ on here and just talking with other traders throughout the day. Like you said, like I probably 50%, I don't even know where I'd be at. Ryan, tell us, let's take it back for a minute. Tell us what it was like when you first got interviewed at SMB Capital and that whole process.
If you want to learn 3 real-world setups that our traders use, including the simple setup that we teach all of our new traders and the setup that turned one of our traders into a 7-figure big money earner, check out the free webinar that we're currently running. Just go ahead and click the link that should be appearing right now at the top right-hand corner of your screen. That's going to open up this free registration page in the new window. So don't worry, you're not going to lose this video. You're going to learn more in a couple of hours from this trading workshop than from years of online education.
Basically, I'd say around 15, 16, I really started to fall in love with the markets. And first it was investing.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with investing, and Warren Buffett and going down that route and reading books on investing and fundamental analysis. And so that's really what I got stuck into for a good 2-3 years. And then I came across day trading and interacting with the markets on a more regular basis. And when I was around 19, a friend of mine who's a bit older than me, he was working at the time at a prop firm in Cape Town. And Bella had actually recently visited that firm. And I had read Bella's book, and I was talking to my friend, and he spoke very highly of Bella, and Bella shared some insight into what the firm was doing with my friend. And I just loved his book. I loved what he shared with my friend at his firm. And then I started doing more research into SMB and KTG. And when I was in my last year of studying, I decided that's just exactly where I wanted to be, specifically at that firm. It's the only prop firm I applied to. I had choices to join banks in South Africa and abroad and go that route, but decided against it. Exciting enough. Kind of like what you said when we were chatting earlier, I didn't want a regular job in that sense. I wanted something that what I put in is what I get out. Really put yourself to the test, because trading just isn't easy. And so applied to the firm. I went through, if I remember correctly, there was a 5-step process, from general questions to a brain teaser to a discussion with the manager to a phone call with Bella, and eventually got the job. And once I got the job, I was over the moon. And I think within a month later, I booked a one-way ticket to New York, and I was on a plane from South Africa to the States.
Yeah. Nice. It's
Nice.
not, I mean, I imagine there's a lot of applicants. Is the more or less like, what's the interview process like? What are they looking for? What are the type of questions, maybe for people out there that are interested in joining the prop firm?
Sure. So first they're looking, and again, if I can remember correctly, but they're looking for someone that has, obviously you need to be interested in the markets, but someone that's really passionate about the markets. Because I think if you want to succeed at trading, you can't just like it, or maybe you'll get you need to be passionate about it, because
Very true.
it's not I don't want a regular job, but it doesn't mean that this isn't a 9 to 5. It's a 6 a.m. to
Right.
and it's actually a 24/7 job, because trading is always on your mind, on escape. You really need to love it and be passionate about it. You need to be competitive, and that's something they definitely look for. They also look for areas where you've been competitive in the past, so that they can see on their end that you do have that trait. You definitely need to be open-minded. They also want to make sure that you're can gel well with their culture, and potentially see a fit between you and a senior trader. And yeah, off the top of my head, those I would say are from my end the most important 4 or 5 characteristics.
Yeah. Now you don't necessarily have to be an experienced trader, correct?
No, definitely. Right. Yeah, sorry, I should have upped that as well. You don't need any experience trading. I had no experience day trading, actually.
Yeah.
I just had investing in a few South African companies, but I had the passion and drive, and willingness to really want to learn everything about trading, and start from scratch and just absorb information from the new guys. I don't think firms in general want to hire guys straight out of college that think they know everything.
Yeah.
Those are people that I've seen in the past that will fail quicker than others. They want to hire guys that are willing to learn from the ground up, as opposed to join the firm and say, I have the golden ticket and the winning strategy, and I'm going to make money from day one.
Right.
So want guys that will manage their expectations and understand that there's a real learning curve, and some sacrifice will have to be made in terms of, really having to work harder than your friends that are getting other jobs for a good year, 2 years before you really see the results and the job.
Right, absolutely. And JJ's echoed this sentiment, and even others we've talked to, that sometimes the smartest people, maybe with great backgrounds, college backgrounds, whatever, aren't the best traders. Right, Jay? Like you said, some of the best traders have just been like street guys.
Definitely. I know those, $200, $300 million traders. And they've been just, one of the sharpest traders I ever met used to dig swimming pools out for a living before he was a trader on the floor. And man, that guy's one of the sharpest traders I've ever seen. Fast, executes just, he's off the floor and retired now. But it's Reverend Jim. We used to call him the Reverend. And and man, that guy could trade circles around people. He'd move 1 million shares around you. You wouldn't even know what was going on.
Shout out to Reverend Jim if he's listening.
I totally agree with you, Jay. First, in terms of overqualified, I've seen a lot of guys from MIT guys that have traded, and they try to make sense of everything that's happening. And that I've actually never seen that work. And the best that I know, and is a good friend of mine, he was a college dropout, and also had the odd job here and there. And now, just like you said, I also just see him trading circles around so many other great traders. And half the time what he does doesn't even make sense to me because he sees things that other traders just don't see and can't make sense of. And so trading's interesting.
Ryan, as far as, I guess, speaking to your style and then maybe other styles at SMB, are you more of like ignore the news type, like, okay, just price action, etc.? Are there people who are more maybe news driven traders in your firm? I guess just speak to that.
Yeah, sure. So we have guys that trade so many different strategies at the firm, from just price action, scalping, swing trades, to imbalances, to fully automated hybrid traders, everything related to day trading, all the different strategies. We have guys doing them at the firm. Regarding my trading, I predominantly trade low floats and small caps.
Okay.
I love doing research. I love knowing what I'm trading, but I don't let that affect my bias. So on a day-to-day basis, I'll usually look to trade price action, generate cash flow in a trade, here and there throughout the day, and just generate cash flow. And once a week, twice a week, there'll be a bigger picture idea, a stock that is perhaps overbought or oversold. They have news that I take into account, and I have a bias around that news. But until price action confirms my bias, I'm on the sidelines. And then if price action does confirm it, that's when I'll get in with size, and then that will maybe be a 1 or 2 or 3 day hold. But on a day-to-day basis, like this morning, there was a stock, MYOS. It had news. I thought the news was fairly irrelevant, or very irrelevant. I thought in the pre-market that the stock was being overbought by some chat rooms and was being put out there,
Right.
Misleading way by chat rooms, creating a lot of false liquidity. And once price action confirmed my bias that it's probably a short and gave me a good level to trade against, which happened right off the open. I don't have the chart, but it was maybe around 290 MYOS. It stuffed and got in 280, and after the first little trend reversal around, I think it was 220 or 230, closed out the shorts. And so that's a quick scalp to generate cash.
That's nice.
Price action and news. And then if that stock, for example, had gone to $6-7 was turned into a day 2 and a day 3 play of a short squeeze, for example, and then topped out, put in a lower high, gave a good level to risk against, and is liquid enough to take size, it would have been on my list for a potential short swing. So to short against a lower high for a 50-60% retracement in price, and hold for 3 or 4 days. And so that's kind of, if there's meat on the bone, it will be a 2-3 day trade. And if there's just a gap up and likely it's going to fail, then it'll just be a scalp. And then there are large caps as well that I trade each day too, but most of my income comes from small caps.
How active during the day are you trading, Ryan? Is this like an all day thing? Do you have certain time frames or time of day that you try and stick to?
So I trade, I know where, and treating it like a small business, I know where I am most profitable, what time of the day I'm most profitable. And for me, and this goes back to first year trading, I know that the first hour I make my most money, and so that's where I'll be as active as I should be on the day. And then the last 45 minutes to an hour is also where I'm most profitable. So those 2 slots is where I'll be eyes completely glued to the screen. I'll have the stocks that I'm watching, my watch list, my if-then statements, and that's where my hands will be on the keyboard throughout the day, from around 11 a.m. New York time until 2:30, 3 p.m. I'll be Eastern time. I'll be flicking through stocks, reviewing what I traded on the open, talking to other traders, see how they traded what I traded, doing some research, seeing if there's some higher time frame setups that are taking shape. I'll work out. I like to work out throughout the day or in midday. sometimes go for a walk and just sort of break up the day into 2 sessions. So stay refreshed. And yeah, that's usually my routine during and throughout the day.
Okay. So since you started, Ryan, how would you say you've evolved as a trader, from, strategy and style wise?
So when I first started, I traded everything. Kind of going back to what I said in the beginning about a characteristic of when you join, I came in saying, I don't know anything. I don't know who I am as a trader, what I'm good at, what I like, what I don't like, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to trade everything. I'm going to trade large caps, breaking news, earning, small caps, medium caps, ETFs, indices, trade everything. And then with very, very small size, because when you start as a trader, you go from losing to losing a little bit less to breaking even to making a little bit and then sort of off to the races. Or in an ideal world, that's how it should be. And so that's what I did for my first 6 months. And I traded super small size, so I'd never dug myself into a hole. And after 6 months, I looked at all my stats on TraderView, and I saw that I basically broke even or lost money in everything other than trading low floats. And so I dug a little bit deeper into low floats, and I found that mostly it's on the short side where I make money. And most of these 2 or 3 setups. And so then I set a goal, and for the next 6 months, I'm going to eliminate everything, and I'm only going to trade those 2 or 3 setups as long as they, still pop up every day. And luckily, we were in a very good market for low floats when I started in the beginning of 2016. And so that was the goal I set. And 6 months later, I was consistent trading low floats, not making a lot, but I was consistent and finding and really deepening my understanding on filings and the mechanics and the technicals behind these stocks and how they move and why they move, and why some of them, some don't, et cetera, et cetera. And then the following year, I said, all right, well, now I've sort of got that waxed where I can size up and make a living from trading these. And so what skills do I have from trading these low floats? And for me, it was, finding certain chart patterns on the short side to manage risk, identifying stocks that are overbought, identifying the short squeeze, being able to see when a stock is going parabolic or putting in a top, and then the list goes on and on and on. And then I said, okay, well, those are the skills. So what else can I apply those skills to? And then it turned into not only day trading those stocks, but also swinging them when they were overbought and kind of went parabolic. And then that turned into also day trading large caps on the short side that were overbought or on breaking news, and using those scalping momentum skills and low floats to trade in play large caps on the short side or on the long side. I mean, long and short, same thing. You just flip the chart around, and it really is the same thing if you think of it that way. Trading those that are just exhausted on the long side. And then, I take all of those skills that I learned from trading those different strategies, and I turned it into getting long low floats to be a part of the front side and the back side. So when a low float's going from 3 to 6 to 7 to 8, and then getting out of the long and flipping short and catching it on the downside, and then moving into OTC stocks. And so I'm rambling on, but really the point is that I found one strategy and one type of stock that worked. Identified the skill and what that makes me as a trader, and then where else can I apply that to create multiple streams of income as a trader. And so now it's evolved into a lot as a price action trader, different stocks and strategies, but it all started with just one little element.
Yeah, man. You, from what I've gathered from you, from watching the video and talking with you, your whole process you went about learning trading almost seems like very like textbook. You stayed open-minded. You dug it. You took all the stats. You dug into what made you correct. And so this is real good stuff you're talking like for the listeners. Ryan, something I've been thinking on recently, and I want to get your thoughts on it. And something I like about SMB, and I've heard Mike talk about it. For the listeners, he's the owner or the co-founder of S&B Capital, it seems like there's an element of like aggression you guys employ, right? Like not like, hey, if it's an A+ setup, boom, we're going for it. Like, put money in there. And being a poker player, you have to be aggressive to make money. That's the right strategy. So if anything, I've been maybe a little bit too aggressive at times trading. I'm thinking speak to the balance of patience and aggression, right? Because you need both of them, correct?
Yeah. 100%. And so where that aggression comes from, just on my understanding, and Bella may correct me on this, but I think where it comes from is if you've proved to yourself and the firm that you can consistently make money in a certain setup, for example, and then you get a really juicy, maybe it only comes across 3, 4, 5 times a year, that setup, and that takes shape and you make the same amount of money in that setup as you would in the not so sexy setup the next day, essentially you're doing a disservice to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so the action comes from, it's your job to be in your seat the whole day, and when you see it, to put on the size, because if you're going to sit in your seat the whole day, you might as well go for it. And so when that 1 every 3 months or 2 months setup does come, your job, now that you've proven to be successful and profitable as a trader, is to really go for it, because you have all the resources at your disposal, and anything less than that would be a disservice to yourself. And so I think that sort of mindset, as well as all of us being competitive and in a really healthy way competing with one another, because we're all seeing the same thing in the same setup, to really test our limits and see what we're comfortable with risking in a trade. And then patience to wait for that, because like I said, that trade doesn't come along that often. And I'm talking about the trades that can make your month or make your quarter or your year.
Right.
So if you're going to sit around and wait for that trade and finally it comes and presents itself, you need to go for it. And so that, I think, is where the aggression comes from.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, I mean, you have to maximize your upside. I mean, if you're really trying to go for the gusto, like you got to put some aggression. Ryan, let me ask you something. Another thing I was thinking about, and I don't know if this is the right way to view it, because there's so many different trading styles and strategies out there. But within, like, let's say like your style, right, the way you trade, is there an optimal way to approach it in a sense? And I don't know if that question is clear.
Elaborate a little bit.
From a, you know what? Let's skip it. Never mind. Let's skip it. I don't know.
I think I know what you mean. Like when you say approach it in terms of how to manage trades and what to look for example.
Yes. Like, is there? And because I mean, I'm a little confused myself. That's why I was even saying, like, I don't know if maybe we should just skip this. But like, yeah, I find myself thinking about like, because I want to optimize every single thing I do, but I don't know if maybe it comes to a point is, okay, is it optimizing or is it like nitpicking? Which The
way I trade, and I think it starts off with especially when you're scalping. So the trades that I was saying regarding generating cash flow throughout the day is, for me, trading isn't about being right or wrong. It's just about having positive expectancy and positive risk reward.
Absolutely.
And so looking at these B+ trades that occur really every day that allow you to just generate cash flow and put up green days. I'm not looking at the trade and saying, well, I think this is going to go lower, or I think it's going higher, and so I'm just getting in because I think I'm going to be right. I'm saying, well, I think I know what the stock's going to do, but price action is saying it's doing something different, so maybe let's be open-minded and just let price action talk to me. And then I let price action talk to me, and something sets up on the chart, and I ask myself, well, if this is what the stock's telling me it's going to do, not what I think, this is what the stock is saying it's going to do, and I have enough reason to believe it's going to continue and there's some momentum, then where am I wrong if I had to get in now and follow the direction? And then I look at that area and I figure out my risk reward, and does it make sense? And is it an A setup, a B setup? Is it kind of like a dinky trade where I shouldn't be risking much, but there's probably 60, 70% chance that it works? And I run through all of this. But the first thing for I think newer traders to understand, and especially how I trade, is when it's just these trades that come up every single day. The reason why I can be positive and green 90% every single month in terms of days is because I don't care about whether I'm right or wrong. It's all about, does that trade have positive risk reward? And if I think back all the 5 years of data I've collected about my trading, if I make that trade, what's the chance that I'm going to make money on it? Because I've made all of these trades before and I've seen all these setups. And so I won't take anything if it's not going to, bear reward. And again, it goes back to trading like it's your business. You wouldn't place an order for something or take stock of something if you don't think it's going to sell. If there's a 10% chance it's going to sell, why would you sink your money into that stock and just let it sit? And so it's just having that mindset of really having respect for your capital and your time.
Very much. Nice. That's a good question, Ray, because you can sum that up by saying, you're making a sound business decision, right? And if you think of trading that way, right, I'm very glad that you're on the podcast today, because I keep talking about this to people, and I think it's just because of the marketing you see in the trading culture that goes away from that. But it's just a sound business decision, right? And
Exactly.
and that's a great question, Ray.
Yeah. So Ryan, what would you say is your biggest strength, or maybe an attribute that that was natural to you when it came to trading, and then conversely, what was difficult for trading, or your biggest weakness that you gotta constantly work on?
So I'll say, I wouldn't say a weakness, but I'd say a really big challenge for me is sizing up. That has been, for me, it's been difficult. And, I'm at a stage now where I'm happy with my size, but as a trader, you always want to grow. And so I tend to get quite comfortable when, given a certain risk parameter or size parameter, I get quite comfortable with it. And then it's just, you kind of go with the flow and go through the paces. But as a trader, you always want to grow and you always need to push yourself. And so regardless of how successful or how big or consistent or profitable you are, you're always going through the constant challenge of needing to size up and test the limits and be uncomfortable in the trade, because we're trading to test our limits, and the sky's the limit with trading. And so for me, it's a big challenge to constantly push myself and put on that extra size. And with that comes bigger losses, bigger winners, but also bigger losses, which make you more ready to hold for longer and to have those days. And so that's something in the beginning I struggled with, was first getting consistently profitable, getting comfortable, and then almost going through that again with sizing up and getting a little bit more uncomfortable, which can sometimes throw you off.
Well, let me ask you this, Ryan, because that's a struggle of mine as well. And then even dating back to poker, like when I would, be making money, then it progressed to playing higher games, higher limits. The losses always hurt because it's like, damn, I'm not used to losing this much money. And I've thought about this a lot. I don't know if there's any way to combat this other than just put yourself in it, right? I mean, what are your thoughts?
You have to, as long as you're making a trade that is the right trade and it's coming from the right place and you've done your research and you're managing it well, then you have to. I mean, in order to grow, you're going to take bigger losses. There's no trader out there that just always makes money. You have to take those losses. And if it was a good trade and it was just the 30%, 40% chance playing out that you weren't going to make money in that trade, then so be it. But next trade, you may lose too. But the third trade, if you're making them on good risk reward trades, that trade will wipe out the losses. And if you just keep going through those paces, once you find your consistency and your edge. And so, with that came the reason why I could overcome that. And that's because I'm very patient, and I don't like to make trades if I feel like it's gambling. I only like to make trades if I know that, this is a trade I can look at all my stats and I've made it 500 times, and out of the 500 times, I've been right 350 times, or I've only been right 100 times, but the risk reward is 7-1. So it doesn't really matter the times that I'm wrong. That the winner's right. And so having that confidence and confirmation when I make trades has made it a lot easier to size up, because now I know that, look, it's just at the end of the day, what I'm risking is just a percent of my total loss limit for the day. And so the number changes, but the percent will always stay the same. So, if I have a certain risk now that I have say my total risk on the day, my loss limit is $1, and I have an A+ setup that I love, and for that A+ setup, I'm going to risk 50% of my daily stop. So I'll risk 50 cents on that setup. And then I do well, and my risk gets bumped up to $2 for the day. I'm still going to be risking 50%. It may be a bigger thing, $1, but it's the same percent. And so keeping things as a percentage also helps. I think for newer traders that could help too. Instead of thinking in terms of dollars, just think as a percent, and be a bit more systematic with that regard. And yeah, hopefully that answers your question. I know I tend to ramble on, so at any point if you want to jump
you're good.
in.
Right.
No, this is good. This is good. This is
great
good.
stuff. No, great stuff, Ryan. Yeah, no, real good stuff. So Ryan, what role does technology or software assistance, back testing play into your strategies?
It plays quite a big role. When I first started, everything I trade now, I did back test to the extent that I could. A lot of it's very discretionary, so you can't precisely back test what I do, but I did to the best of my ability. That gave me some more confidence in what I was doing. And on a day-to-day basis, I use, without being automated and having scripts running, I use technology, I think, to the best that I could be. And that's having scanners. So, coding my own scanners and alerts to alert me to every potential setup within my toolbox that I should be looking at or should be trading. I'll be alerted to that. When I get in the morning, usually I'll look at all the gappers. So I'll have a watch list and a scanner that I build to alert me to all the stocks that I should be looking at in the morning. Will alert me gapping up, gapping down, news. I'll have board views. So the electric vehicle sector has been hot lately. So I'll have a little board view with all the different electric vehicle stocks, with market names, with large cap in play names, color code them if they're above or below VWAP or trading at VWAP, different arbles. And I mean, I have probably 15 or 20 different little board views and scanners running at all times. And that's to alert me to all of my different, I would say my different niches and what I'm good at. And people are here to supplement me and say, hey, this is one of your potential trades in a large cap or small cap or medium, or overbought, oversold, trading in a range at the 2 or 3 day VWAP. And so throughout the day and after midday, I look through all of these scanners to potentially find 1 or 2 A trades to make midday, which I wouldn't find if I never had all these eyes in the market pointing these out to me.
Yeah. Excellent. Hey Jay, do you I know I'm asking all the questions here. Do you have anything from my man? I don't know if
Yeah, no, I got a lot. I've actually got quite a bit here. I just wanted to let you finish.
Yeah, well, I would. Okay, I'm asking one more, then I'll let you jump in.
Okay, sure.
Brian, I wanted, because you're on the guy Sharks team, correct?
Yeah.
He's I know he's a big trader, maybe like one of the most successful in the firm. What have you learned? Like, what is he like, and what have been some of the big takeaways you've gotten from him?
On a personal level, he's awesome. He's just such a great guy. So driven, so humble. And when I first started, what really stood out to me is, here's this super successful trader, one of the guys I was trying to emulate at the time, and I still am. But he's always willing to give his time to help newer traders and ask and answer questions. And so that really stood out to me, just a really great guy. And he's actually quite interesting. One of the reasons he got into trading, which will resonate with you, is he loved to play poker. And that really got him, I think, more into trading than otherwise.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've learned from him is managing expectations. That's been a big thing. And bigger picture, managing expectations, specifically when I started on this team, understanding the learning curve is real. also mindset as a trader, and on a day-to-day basis, really taking stock of what's the market doing, where have we come from, where are we now? Is some energy coming out of the market? Should you be dialing back a little bit and not, be so heavy on the pedal? Zooming out on a particular stock and asking the same questions, and not always going for the shiny object, maybe sometimes going for the stuff that not many people are watching, because that's where the easier money is. And his hard work is also very motivating to a lot of the other traders at the firm, because here's a guy and the other traders at the firm like him who are just doing so exceptionally well, but I still get sent his reviews every day after the close. As a team, we all send our reviews to each other. Still sends his reviews. His is probably the most detailed out of anyone else's on the team. And you wouldn't think so. He's the most senior, most successful trader on the team, but his review and his work ethic is second to none, which is very inspiring. And so, being around a trader like that is awesome, because it just motivates you and also opens your eyes that, kind of like I was saying earlier with sizing, of course, it's not for him sizing, but traders are always working on their game, because you'll be satisfied, but you'll always be hungry, because you can always do better and be bigger. And seeing someone that's doing what I dream of doing in the next few years, having achieved it, but still working hard to get to a new level and a new level and a new level, is just awesome. And so, yeah, big shout out to Shark, because he's taught me a lot of what I know.
Yeah. Shout out to Shark. Yeah, no, that's great, man. That's a blessing that you have these people to, pick their brain and learn from. And I appreciate you sharing some of that with us. All right, Jay, you could jump in now.
Cool. I get a lot of, because we do teach, I get a lot of questions from people, saying that they want to be a prop trader. So I just wanted to ask you, first of all, it's great to have you here. It's really, really cool. I'm an old guy, to see how dedicated and how disciplined you guys are, and how seriously you take the craft. I think that's very, very cool. If you can just kind of explain, Ray was going through the interview process. So what happens when you actually join a prop firm, and what's that process like? Because people are asking me, is there a buy-in, or, that sort of thing? Do you have to come up with some of your own capital? Just walk us through how it worked for you.
Sure. So I can't speak for other firms, but I know at our firm, there's no buy-in at all. The firm completely back you and support you. When I started, we go on a simulator. I went on a simulator for a couple of months, I think 2 or 3 months. And during that time, I was in a class of 10, I believe, that started. And we would have 2 or 3 meetings during the day, 1 in the morning, discuss opening ideas. The floor manager would share some of the ideas that the senior guys were looking at. Then we'd have another meeting midday, another meeting sometimes sort of midway through the afternoon, the close, and then one after the close. And so the first 2-3 months, we're going through the training program that S&P have in-house, and we're also trading on a simulator and getting access to what the senior traders are doing, and also learning from one another with all of these meetings and sharing trades and really learning from each other's mistakes too. And then after that process, you interview for a team. You go live for about a couple months after that. And you trade small size, you trade live, and you build your playbooks, and you figuring out who you are and what has resonated with you as a trader. And after about 4 months, you interview with all of the team leads, and then the team leads select who they want to be on their team and who they want to sort of mentor and take under their wing. And that's really where the fun starts. And so after about 5-6 months, I joined Shark's team. And that's where I could take everything I'd learned the last 6 months and start applying it on a more, I guess, just on a deeper level, and just on another level because now I'm trading alongside a trader who's actively trading and successful. You really begin to see how someone specializes in one niche or in 5 niches, and that's where the fun starts. But yeah, the firm, they completely back you. You don't put up capital; they give you all the capital. They give you all the technology you need. You're around traders. You get mentored, and so it's all the tools are there for you to succeed, as long as you have the right mindset and work ethic, and along with 100 other things.
No, it's really great because in this, trading is now a very, very popular thing. They're opening up 100,000, 200,000 accounts every month at these places. And, so every time something gets popular, the vultures come, right? And so we have a lot of, younger folks out there who are really interested in this. What should they look for if, they're coming across, what should they look for in a firm? If they're trying to get in, like, it's kind of a two-way street. The firm has to accept you as well, but what should you look for, and what kind of places should you avoid, in the prop world?
You definitely want to avoid the places that don't offer any training. You want to, because you're there to learn and then you're there to trade and make money. So one, you don't want to go to a place that won't give you any training or give you access to the traders that are making money. You want the culture to exist at the firm where you can ask questions. You can go up to a senior trader before they open, after the close, and say, hey man, what are your thoughts on the day? What are you trading? And you also don't want to be at a firm that says, you can join our firm with pleasure, but you got to put up this amount of money. And that is very easy to get in, because it's very easy to get into a firm. There's probably a reason for that. So those are probably the places you want to avoid. And also for the new guys that are interested in looking to get in at prop firms, just go online and read reviews. Reviews often don't lie. And so just see what current and former employees have had to say about their experience. And you can get a lot from that too.
That's great. SMB sounds like a really great environment to trade in. I was on an institutional desk and it was completely different. We were like animals, but that sounds like a really cool collaborative environment. I'd go up, the first thing, when you started, back in the 90s at those firms, you go up to a trader and go, hey, how you doing? He's like, yeah, get me an effing coffee now, go. Right. That's like, yeah, hey, who's this kid standing here? Hey, go get me a coffee. What are you doing? Make yourself useful. Right. So it's nice that, that you have that, collaboration where you can go up to a senior trader, because how I learned was you just eavesdrop on these guys, because you wouldn't dare ask them a question. You'd just kind of sit there and you'd hear them talking and be like, oh, okay, that's how they do it. Right. And so that sounds really cool. I like that.
Well, it still is like that to an extent. And a lot of people, even when I first started, I would often just eavesdrop a little bit on the senior trader. I'd be a little bit nervous to go up to them in case one of them would be like, dude, get the hell away. And we all were like that, because they're guys in big trades and you're like, ooh, what are they doing? I find out what they're doing. But none of us would go and ask them because they're in a big trade, and so we kind of just like wheeled a little bit closer to where they were sitting, so we could feel the action play out. And then we found out that they don't mind at all, actually.
That's very cool. Yeah, that's a tribute to the management of that firm. Definitely.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Sorry. Okay, Ray, take her away.
Yeah, good. Now, maybe we can get to some fun things now. Appreciate the trading talk. That was good. Learned a lot. Well, no,
here we go.
Listen, Ryan, you're a young guy and making money, living in New York City. I don't know what South Africa's like, but you got to tell me what's the dating life like, the nightlife. You got to have a lot of fun, I bet.
It was a lot of fun with girlfriends. So I don't know if she's like.
Oops.
No, it was great, man. New York was so much fun, and it still is. I can't wait to get back for different reasons. Kiara, if you are listening now, don't worry. There's always something going on, and coming from Cape Town to the city like New York, where literally, you know, you want to drink, it's 1, 2 in the morning, like, have fun or whatever. There's just always bars.
Yeah.
And so, you know, during the weeks all work, and then Friday comes and we all leave the firm at around 4:30 after the close. We end early, we go out for drinks, and you know, then I meet up with the friends, and that would continue really until Sunday.
Yeah.
You have to when you're trading in this
Yeah.
high stress environment. You know, got to, you know, get your workouts in, but also enjoy life a bit on the weekends. And New York isn't short of that. So, and it was great. After 2 years, you know, your body can't take it that much. So winding down a bit, not drinking as much and going out as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, here and there. Shout out to your girlfriend. Ryan, the accent when you got to America, the women like your accent, yeah? I'm sure you get that, yeah?
No, I did, man. They loved it. I'm just hearing it from a guy is a bit strange. But no,
Well, I know women, Ryan. I'm just saying. I'm sure they're eating it up. That's all I'm saying. I'm just.
No. Ryan, he's probably practicing so he can emulate it. You know.
I am. I'm going to replay this podcast over and over.
I'm Ray I'm from Johannesburg. Nice to meet you.
No, the accent definitely helps. The accent helps a lot. Yeah, American girls like the South African accent, man. I don't know what it is. It's other places in the world not so much, but girls in America seem to love the accent.
Yeah. Any notable differences between American women and the women in South Africa?
Women in South, I have to choose my words carefully because I'm here now. The women in South Africa are they're amazing. Honestly, I think the most beautiful women in the world.
Mm-hmm.
In America, I think are a little bit more, in a sense, I would say outgoing,
Okay.
but sort of just like easy to get to know originally and hold a conversation with, and just kind of, you know, have fun, you know, off the bat. And I think the women in South Africa can be a bit more restrained when it comes to meeting someone new and getting to know someone. Yeah, and I think it's because the culture is very different. In South Africans are so friendly and they'll always welcome you. But in the sense that in South Africa, like when I went to college, you go, you know, it's 15 minutes away from my house. So you always stay, you know, very close to home and in a bubble in a sense. Whereas in the States, people travel, you know, from one coast to another coast and always meeting new people. And so I'd say that's a big difference, not only between girls, but just South Africans and Americans in general.
Yeah. And Trey, any cultural adjustments you had to make when you came here, or it's similar-ish enough?
I'd say similar-ish enough.
Yeah.
I would say, you know, two of the biggest things, the one was having to roll my R's when I spoke because people just couldn't understand me. I mean, it just, and it would kill me.
Like, give me an example. Like what? Like, what would you say? Like what?
Like, I would say, where we go? I'd say, what? And I'll be like, oh, where are we? Like, I'm speaking English. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, no, just speak slower. And,
yeah.
And you know, we have different names for things. So, you know, in South Africa, we call a traffic light a robot. Exactly. So, you know, we say right at the robot. He's looking for a robot now walking across the street. And those small differences, but overall, not much of a culture shock.
Yeah. Cool. Man, when I watched that video you put out last week or 2 weeks ago, first thing that stood out to me, man, I love the frames, man, you got on. I do. No, I like them. Honestly, like I wear contacts, but I'm like looking for some like glasses. What brand are those? What's the?
Right. This is an unknown brand. It's a South African brand called Surefire, Superfire, and
okay.
there's a small kiosk at the shopping mall down the road where I bought these. But when I come to the States, I'll be sure to grab you a pair.
Grab me, yeah. When you come back to New York, yeah, I'll have to link up with you. Like that, maybe like a gold. I would like maybe like a gold gold rim on them. You know, just to be different, because I can't wear the same ones as you, Ryan. I can't bite your style now.
I'll get you a pair like this, and then you can do it however you want.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Because I don't like biting people's style. You know, you gotta have your own thing. But I like the frames. I like the artwork too, man. You got good style. You got a sense of you like artwork, style, clothing, and like those things. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she watches over me while I trade, man. She's like my evil eye. She keeps things. She keeps things safe.
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. All right. Let's see. What else I got for you? Books. Are you a reader at all? Any good books you're reading lately?
For the second time, I just finished rereading Atomic Habits by James Clear. Have you read that?
No, I haven't. I haven't actually. No.
Oh man, it's. I wouldn't say self-help. It's just it keeps me in check as a trader. So basically, the book's all about how a lot of people see, overnight successes, or a lot of people, want to make. I want to make $1 million, and then they just focus on that's the goal. I want to make $1 million, but they don't think about what goes into achieving that goal and getting there. And you see an overnight success, but you don't see the last 4 or 5 years someone put into achieving or getting to where they are. And so this book's all about improving and growing 1% every single day, and making the mistakes, learning from them, developing the right habits, the foundation. And it's all about life, but it applies so well to trading. And it was actually gifted to me by Bella. Read it once, loved it, then sort of forgot about it, read some other books, and picked it up again about a week ago and just finished it. And it's not related to trading, but when it comes to trading, it's a book that I recommend so highly.
Absolutely, man. And that's what I really, what is it, Atomic Habits? I'm writing this down right now.
Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I just, and I loved everything you've been speaking about, like mindset-wise as well. And it's like, this sounds like this book is just echoing the same sentiment you were saying before. It's like the process, not the results.
Exactly.
Which is like, I think that's when I finally took that like turn in my head, and which I still got to always remind myself, I'm still human, and like I still like get attached to results, somewhat. I mean, it's kind of hard not to, but once you like make that turn, I think it's just a huge difference, in my development. So, all right, let's see what else. Yeah, go ahead.
I totally agree, and when you start out trading, it's hard to not only think about, I made X amount today and I should have made more, or I lost and damn, I shouldn't have lost that much. And you get so wrapped up in those results, as opposed to thinking, okay, I made that or I lost that, but why did I make that, or why did I lose that? What mistakes did I make? What didn't I do that I should have done? And taking note of all of that, as opposed to your P&L, and then doing that every day, and then things compound. And then, 6 months later, you can start focusing a little bit on the money side of things. How can I be bigger? And I should have made more in that. And again, it's the process, because things compound over time as long as you focus on the process and the habits and the foundation in the beginning. Just understanding that makes all the difference.
It does. Yep, it really does. All right, Ryan, musical taste.
Musical taste,
yeah.
It depends what mood I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
From rap to jazz to deep house to techno to honestly, just whatever mood that I'm in.
Yeah, diverse. That's good.
Yeah, what about you? Your favorite?
I would go hip hop. Definitely hip hop. A lot of, even just like I drop a lot of hip hop references in the podcast. I don't know if people catch or not. Some people do, some people don't. But yeah, hip hop definitely. I love jazz too, though. Like if it's like a nice mellow mood. I love jazz, but a lot of hip hop is jazz sampled, so which makes sense why I like that sound. Yeah, man, I like psychedelic rock. A little bit of everything. Go ahead.
You listen to any Hugh Masakayla, Ryan?
Oh, me?
No, Ryan.
Oh.
Who's that?
Hugh Masakayla. Check him out. He's a South African jazz
You
Oh,
Masakayla,
Yeah.
let me write that down. I'll definitely check that out. Well, when you guys are trading, do you ever listen to music?
Yeah,
I do.
sometimes. Yeah,
I
do
do.
sometimes.
Yeah, as well.
JJ, he surprises me with some of his musical references. Sometimes. Would you hit me with the other day? The Jay-Z. You hit me with it. Oh yeah, because I was telling him, Ryan. I was telling him, I was like, I'm seeing this new girl, and like she's mixed. I told him that she was Indian, and he goes, what'd you say? Red dot or feather?
Yeah, which is a very, very, very inappropriate thing to say, but I was quoting a song lyric to see if you'd catch it.
It was a
So
Jay-Z.
there's
Yeah,
our
don't cancel
disclaimer.
us.
Yeah, there's our disclaimer, right? There's our 17B disclaimer. Okay.
Yeah, we know. Don't cancel the podcast. Don't come for us,
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
I know everyone's getting canceled these days. It was, it's a song lyric.
Yeah.
We're having fun. But yeah, no, I thought that was funny. Yeah, you surprised me with that Jay-Z, girls, girls, girls. That song. Yeah. So he's funny. He acts like he's so like he's not hip, but he's got some hipness in him, I guess. Well, let's see, Ryan, favorite movie or movies if you don't have one.
Favorite movies. I mean, because we're doing a podcast and talking about trading, I'm gonna have to go with Boiler Room. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Big Short was great. We can do favorite series because series is where it's at the moment.
Yeah.
What did I recently watch? Mad Men is classic. Love that. I saw them in the bars and that whole vibe when I first watched it. I've watched it twice now. When I first watched that was like probably 5% of the reason why I was so quick to jump on the plane, just because of the culture and just that feeling you get. I just love that, and the jazz and whatnot. Dexter's great show. Friends, all-time favorites.
About Billions, have you?
Billions. I first I think like two seasons, 2 or 3 seasons, and then sort of just got just kind of lost track of it. But I've been meaning to get back into it.
Yeah. We enjoy that one here. We've had on 2 of the actors like on the podcast. So that's been cool. Yeah, that was a cool little experience for us. So shout out to Billions. All right, let's see. All right, Ryan, you're on death row. What's your final meal?
Final meal on death row.
Yeah, what's your last meal? Yeah.
Yeah, as of right now, just because I'm very into it, and a lot of the guys at the firm aren't going to like that I'm going to say this because they aren't fans of the stock. I'm going to go with a juicy Beyond Burger.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
There's something.
Interesting.
It would be funny if some of the guys were short and the stock just went up.
Yeah. They just bumped it.
No, but Beyond Burger, there's maybe it's just I have weird taste buds, but there's just something right about that burger. It's just
Really?
it's and they recently started selling, or like probably 6-7 months ago in South Africa and in Cape Town. If you go to the 3-4 stores that have them, they are always sold out.
Really? Crazy, right? Yeah, it's real popular. It is real popular. Yeah.
Really popular.
Wow.
Second choice would probably be sushi. Love sushi. And pizza, pasta. Food's like music with me. It depends what mood I'm in, and then I love something so much. And the next day, Indian food's also Indians up there too. Indian and Mexican. Yeah, everything. I'm an indecisive person. With trading, can make decisions, stick to it. With life,
yeah. Definitely. That's good. That's good though. It brings up something I believe we were talking about this before we started recording. And I know you're a believer in it. I'm a big believer in it as well, that you can learn, you've learned about yourself through trading, correct?
Yeah, so much.
Yeah. It's a real fascinating concept. I mean, first with poker really, because poker and trading are other than the technical aspects of it, the whole mental game is the same, right? So it's incredible how much I learned about myself through these endeavors. And it's like, I'm almost like grateful. I am grateful in a sense, and like these lessons that we learned, I think we can take into like broader life, or just like even just my everyday decision making, I think is better because of these pursuits. I mean, would you agree?
I and it puts things into perspective. In the beginning, I would really beat myself up over my results on the day, or certain trades or mistakes that I made. And it puts things into perspective. Something along sort of this line too is, I was speaking to Dr. S about this probably like two and a half years ago, and had a really bad trade which turned into a bad week, and then you can get into a bit of a slump as a trader where your results sort of wrap themselves around you. And I was speaking with him, and he said, Ryan, you got to remember, because I had said, look, trading's my life, man, because I really love it. And at the time I was like, I eat, breathe, live trading. And he was like, well, that's a big mistake, because as a trader and as a person, you want to have trading, that's your job, but you always need to place the focus and attention on the other, 5 staples in life, which is work, which is, your health, working out, friendships, relationships, family, hobbies, and interests. And so if you're having a bad day or bad week trading, you have the other 4 or 5 things to fall back on. Not even to fall back on, but to devote your energy on and your time. And without trading, I honestly I would never have been faced with having to really make a conscious decision to make time always to see family or to see friends or to work out and stay healthy. It's funny because trading, it's at first it's all about work, and you often selfishly a trader can think that it's more stressful and more demanding than perhaps other jobs. But then you look around and other jobs, and some people they don't get faced with having to make those decisions and that conscious effort to make time with others and build out those relationships. But as a trader, trading reminds you what's really important in those slumps, in those periods. And so again, I ramble, but that's something that I really learned a lot early on from trading, was to just always maintain that if I can call like equality in your life.
Yeah. That balance, man, definitely, which I'm a huge believer in. No, well said. And shout out to Dr. Steenberger. That's Dr. S, yeah?
Dr. S, yeah.
He's great.
Shout out. He's another person in my trading life that if he hadn't, been there and helped me and advised, I wouldn't be, a quarter of the trader that I am today.
Yeah. We love Dr. Steenberger here. We had him on the show as well. Good guy.
Yeah, it was a great podcast you did. Yeah, I listened to that. It was fantastic.
Yeah, good guy, man. Let's see what else I was going to ask you something else. I don't know, Jay, you got any more questions for our boy?
No, that's pretty much it. I'm really just really happy that we got, to pick his brain and get some insight into the prop world, because a lot of people talk to me about prop, and I'm like, listen, I was an order flow jockey when, the bell rings, we're in the bar, the prop grade traders are doing their research, and, by the time they're on their 3rd chart, we're pickled. So yeah, it's really nice to have, because, a lot of people ask me about that, and prop, I think, can really help retail traders because they see the discipline and the work involved and the process.
Totally agree.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I love the business-like approach, because I think that's the way it should be viewed, and I think people need to do that. And yeah, Ryan, it was just a real pleasure talking to you, man. I really love your whole process, your mindset, the way you go about things. It was a pleasure talking to you. Oh, I remember what I wanted to ask you. Working out, what type of are you? Weights, cardio, a mix of both? Like, what's your workout routine like?
Yeah, I do a mix of both. I like to be quite functional. So cardio, kind of CrossFit type of training. Yeah, so a bit of soccer with friends. Love to play soccer. But to go onto your point and follow up with kind words. It's an absolute pleasure being on here, guys. It's been really, really great. So thank you for having me on. It's been a lot of fun.
Hey, go ahead and click our subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos they were producing for you in the trading community. And please take the time to add your feedback in the comment section for what videos you'd like for us to produce next and what you found helpful from this video. From all of us at S&B, train and trade well.